Good morning, Coyotes, and welcome to Coyote Call. I'm your host, Ben Cash, and today I'm joined with
Jason
and Jackson
and our special guest,
Everett Osterkamp.
We have a great episode planned for you today, so let's get into it. So, as we're all kind of recovering from spring break, I just want to know, how tired are you guys right now?
an 8.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
I could have fallen asleep again, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like a 7 or an 8 for me. Like, I'm just perpetually tired.
I can't tell if I'm awake or not. I'm not tired.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks. Oh yeah, Jackson, you want to talk about how you got banned on your PlayStation account? Apparently?
Okay, guys, moral of the story, do not get V-Bucks. So, what happened was, I got V-Bucks, right? I was just playing like normal. This is on Fortnite, by the way. I was playing normally.
You couldn't tell by the mention of V-Bucks.
I know, but in case of people who don't know, who aren't avid gamers,
As in our parents, I guess.
That's true. Okay, and I was playing, right? And then all of a sudden, I get kicked out, and I lost my match, obviously. And then I tried logging back in manually, and it sent a code, right? And it said WS like 6367 or something, and then I look it up, and it said my PSN account got banned or suspended. And then I had to wait 4 days for an email to finally explain to me what happened, and it was because of like a chargeback. So I owe them money, but even though I already paid it, which is like weird. So I either have to go to like a retail shop, like a GameStop or something, to get like a PS5 card and pay them that way, or I have to do it online.
So you are like in debt with the PlayStation Mafia right now.
Yeah.
How do you get in debt from Fortnite?
I don't know.
Actually, that kind of makes sense.
You literally did the John Wick needs your help. Use your mommy's credit card.
Dog really just stole his mom's credit card.
God.
But
I was so sad, you guys. I thought I lost everything.
should I ask how much?
It was $20.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you got like the maximum of V-Bucks.
You better watch your back, though.
It's like, I got banned and lost $90.
I wish.
What do you mean you wish? Why would you
Why
want
would you wish that?
Yeah, why would you want to wish it was more money?
No, I want that money, I want that V-Bucks,
Yeah.
I want that. I want that $100 worth of V-Bucks,
A similar thing happened to me. When the Star Wars Battlefront collection was coming out, there was like a discount for the pre-order. I wanted to pre-order that because I had like a bunch of money in my bank account. But then, like, I forgot that my PS Plus subscription was going to automatically renew, and it's like $80 a year now. So it like took the money out of my account, and then like I'm out trying to get gas, and I only get like $43 worth of gas when I was supposed to get $50 worth. And so like I have literally $0 on my debit card. So I had to like get like a Switch gift card that I got for my birthday that I had left over. I had to use that to buy the Battlefront collection, which, for the record, do not buy in any form. It is absolutely horrible. The game is 33 gigabytes on Nintendo Switch. It's 2 PlayStation 2 games that they didn't even like remaster at all. They still the game looks terrible.
Oh my god.
And the online doesn't work at all. There's like, the ping is like, people will run from like point A to point B, and the moment they get to point B, they just shoot back to point A. Like you cannot shoot at anybody. It's terrible.
So you just get scammed either way. Why
Yeah.
is it $80?
I don't know. Inflation, I guess.
That inflation is gonna get it.
What?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna make inflation go down.
How?
Single-handedly.
I'm gonna go in there and tell the government.
Guys, let's crush the stock market.
I'm gonna teach that government a lesson. I'm gonna teach that economy a lesson.
Oh, hold me back. I'm going to teach them a lesson.
Let me at him. All right, moving on with our question of the day here. What is your favorite album of all time? I can go first. I think my favorite album, I have a couple favorites, but my all-time favorite I can just put on anytime and enjoy from start to finish is OK Computer by Radiohead. It's just a fantastic album from start to finish. Just every song is a masterpiece. And Kid A is really good too. It's a little bit more experimental. You kind of have to be ready for it. But like, it's an acquired taste. But once you acquire it, I think in some ways I kind of enjoy Kid A little bit more. But OK Computer is just like an all-around masterpiece. So I would definitely say that. What about you guys?
My favorite album is Death Race for Love by Juice WRLD. He like freestyled like almost the entire thing, and it flows so well. And the producer like did the beat so amazing. It's like I don't know how to explain it. But you need to listen to it. It's like crazy.
Honestly, I'm not really sure what my favorite would be, but one that I've been recently listening to a lot is the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack, because there's so many good songs in the game, and I really want to play it, but I don't own the PS5 because I want to keep my liver.
I'd probably say my favorite album is Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, there's a lot of different artists that their songs I like more, just one or two songs, but out of albums, it's definitely theirs.
That album is like the common cold in the music industry because everybody has come in contact with it at some point.
Yeah, you've heard it whether or not you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'd say most people have wanted to.
Right, yeah.
All right, well, we'll be back with an interview with Everett after these quick segments, so don't go anywhere. Today I'm going to be talking about Dune Part 2, which was released this March. There's this attitude I see a lot among people, which is, if I don't like something the first time, why should I keep trying to like it? When I first saw Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve, the director of the Dune films, I didn't really like it. I thought the visual effects, cinematography, soundtrack, and sound design were all amazing, but I also felt that it was far too slow, and the plot didn't really grab me that much. In other words, I liked everything about the movie except for the content of the movie itself. I felt the same way about Dune Part 1, appreciating the deeper filmmaking aspects of it and respecting the ambition, but not really enjoying the film itself. I was convinced then and there that I just wasn't a fan of this director, and yet I still wanted to keep giving him a chance. So, a week ago, I decided to go see Dune Part 2 in IMAX, and it finally clicked. This movie was absolutely phenomenal. Any and every problem I had with the original or Blade Runner 2049 is essentially gone here. The pacing is the best it's ever been. There's a lot going on the whole movie, and all of it moves by at just the right speed. Plus, there's a lot more action scenes, and they're all incredible. Hans Zimmer continues to prove that he just can't miss with this score, which will go down as one of his best works yet. And needless to say, the visual effects are at their peak here, as always. In fact, they somehow look even better than the original. But for as much action and spectacle present in this movie, there's also a lot of quiet, intimate human moments filled with emotion and subtext, aided by a fantastic cast who bring their acting A-game. It's a very loaded film subject-wise. It's a revolution story, it's a love story, it's a coming-of-age story about the Messiah that didn't want to be. Really, it's also sort of a mafia story. The Harkonnens are really like a mob family in this film, and couple that with the themes of rising to power, and it's sort of a science fiction Godfather. And if Dune Part 1 is the Godfather, then Dune Part 2 is obviously the Godfather Part 2 and how it blows the original out of the water. It was so good that it finally made me appreciate Denis Villeneuve as a director a lot more. He proves in this film more than ever that he is the new king of visual and audio effects. And pair his filmmaking expertise with a great story, and you have a recipe for a masterpiece. And this is a prime example. There's not a lot more that I feel I can say about this movie for now, but I almost think that's a good thing. When a movie is so good that you can't really put it to words, that's when you know you're not watching a movie. You're watching a film. I'm not sure how much longer it'll be in theaters, but if you can or haven't already, I implore you to see this movie. And seeing it in IMAX is a must. It's an easy 10 out of 10. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show. Welcome back, Coyotes. And now we're going to talk to Everett, who's actually a music producer. And as someone who's really into music, this is a really exciting opportunity to talk to someone who makes music on campus. So, I just wanted to talk to you about some of your songs and how you made them. So, in your email, you sent me 4 songs.
Yes.
And they're all pretty good. Some are better than others. My personal favorite had to be Her.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll be playing in the background right now.
Okay.
That song really hit. It's really good. Really hits you in the emotions there.
Well, thank you.
And then I think for my second favorite, it would have to be what was it called? Don't Shoot. That one was pretty good. It was like a little dubstep thing. I like your all 4 of those songs had like a kind of indie game feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Her song sounds like something you would hear in like a Katana Zero cutscene or something like that. And then, the first song is just dubstep. It's whatever. But yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. So I just want to talk about your kind of thought process, how it was like making them, and just, what it's like making music. Tell me everything.
Okay, well, let's start with Don't Shoot, because that's definitely an interesting story.
Yeah.
So, for context, one of my closest friends, Phoenix, we used to go to, he goes here, we used to go to a school together back in 8th grade, and there was this photo of him that I found with his hands up, and he had these heart sunglasses on because he was being funny, and I captioned it with Don't Shoot, and I thought that was kind of funny, and that gave me inspiration to write a song, or actually I'd already started writing the song, but I thought, oh my gosh, I could shoehorn this in here. So I didn't have a recording set up at the time, so I just took my phone and I recorded a couple of the vocals for it, and I just threw those in there, and I was like, this is great, and then I released it, and I don't know, I just kind of go with where the music takes me, you know. I just try and come up with something first, usually on piano, and then I'll recreate that into FL Studio, and then just see where I can go with it. And a lot of the stuff I make never fully develops into a song because I just don't like it enough. But the stuff that does, I'm like really proud of, and I like try and get out there. You know, I have a Spotify, it's on Apple Music, all that stuff.
That's really cool. What do you go by on Apple Music and all that?
Oh, kind of a weird name. I don't know why I chose it, but it's lowercase sky.47. So check it out.
All right, I'll be sure to, because that her song, I downloaded that from the Google Drive.
Oh, wow.
I really liked it.
Yeah, so I'll go into that one. So for that particular album, it's called Her. That's the main song of it. I really like that album. It was my first studio album, which is definitely interesting. I'm glad I was able to get that out. My friend Joaquin, who's also a music producer, hooked me up with this website and distributor called Amuse. And
Hold on, I want to stop you right there. You have a friend named Joaquin and a friend named Phoenix?
Yes. Yes, I know. Joaquin Phoenix. That joke has been made several times. But, so he hooked me up with this distributor. It's a website called Amuse, and it's free. And you can just upload your music, and it takes care of all the royalties, all that, basically makes it yours and gets it out on platforms, and it's really, really cool. So for my first studio album, I decided, I got to do something good, right? So I had kind of been listening to this style of music at the time. I'm not really sure how you would classify it, but it was like very kind of ambient, and just I really liked it, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try and make this. So I made some stuff. I think I made chords on the piano, just put those in there. And then what really worked well was when I came up with the lead for the chorus. I added some delay and reverb to it, and it sounded really, really nice. And then I used this external website called slowedandreverb.studio to slow and reverb it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds awesome. I could do so much with this. And it's kind of cliche, I guess, but like the whole album I was like dedicating to my girlfriend, so that was nice. And so I just, a lot of thoughts and emotions behind that, so I just threw everything I had at it. There were several songs that I didn't include, but over the course of about 3 weeks-ish, I wrote all 9 songs, and then within half a month they were out.
Yeah, that's really cool. You mentioned your friend Phoenix. You actually did send me a song called Phoenix's Theme.
Yes, that was for my second EP called Nostalgia, and I thought it would be interesting if I made a song to kind of embody what I felt like he brought to the table. He's definitely a very interesting guy, very, I don't know if this is the right word, but goofy. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a theme song for him, because like, I've just seen stuff like, how in like some TV shows or whatnot, like each character has their own theme that will kind of be repeated every time that they're shown. Yeah. Well, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do that for him, and I decided to make this song, and it's pretty funny. I think he enjoyed that, but yeah, definitely a lot of my songs have to do with friends or family or just stuff that's happening at the time.
Yeah, when it has that kind of inspiration, it definitely adds a lot and makes it a lot better than it would be. And then just like, I just threw together some music just because. Yeah. All the good music has some soul behind it, so I really appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, I want my music to be, more than just something to listen to, like that random royalty-free stuff you hear in the background of every commercial ever. Yeah. I kind of want it to just be about something, like tell a story, even if it's indirect or just like up to interpretation. I just want that.
Yeah, because I feel like music that you make should be sort of an extension of yourself.
Right, yeah.
Are you just an electronic music producer, or do you play any instruments or anything like that?
Well, I mainly produce digitally. I do have the ability to record like piano and guitar. It just doesn't sound very good, so I don't do it often. But I do play instruments. I play the drums, I play piano and guitar, And what I'll mainly do is I'll just head over to the piano because that's the instrument I'm best on. Just start messing around till I make something I like, and then recreate that into like a note clip or whatnot in FL Studio, and then just take it from there and see what I can make.
So you're like a jack of all trades kind of guy.
Kind of. I mean, not really good at guitar. All right at drums. Pretty good at piano. But yeah, it's taken a long time. I've been producing music for like almost 4 years now. I was always like interested in it, you know. When I was younger, I was always kind of thinking up ideas for songs, but I just like never had the, you know, knowledge because I was pretty dumb back then to be able to make music. And so I started in 2020, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I just had a lot of help from my friends and my family. Also, my friend Phoenix's stepdad, Bernard, he's a producer, and he's helped me a lot. He's given me a lot of tips and stuff, and that's really cool. And it's just really good to see all my friends and family supportive of me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from. Like, I always wanted to get into music to a point, and like especially like as I'm appreciating music a lot more now as I get older, I really like wish I could do that kind of stuff, but you know, my whole life I kind of felt like I don't really have any musical bones in my body until like recently I discovered like, hey, am actually like decent at singing. I enjoy doing that. But like actually producing or like playing instruments, I've just never gotten the hang of. I had a guitar exploratory class in middle school, but I forgot everything about it. But yeah, I see where that like family aspect is coming from because my dad was a drummer, and he's like a sound guy, so
That's cool.
He was like a kind of big inspiration for me in like my music tastes. Like I have a whole playlist just dedicated to songs that he played for me as a kid or like recently.
That's awesome because I have the exact same thing. I have I mainly grew up on like kind of classic rock and stuff because that's what my parents listened to when they grew up. So I have like, I think it's almost 400 songs. It's like 27 hours of just like everyone, just all the rock artists.
Yeah. Because like when I was like a kid and I was in preschool, you know, kids were listening to like Wheels on the Bus and nursery rhymes. Nah, not me. I was listening to Queen's greatest hits. And like my parents would try to play me classical music. I was never like as into classical music, but you know, it was okay. But I wanted to listen to like the real good stuff, you know, like actual
death metal,
classic. Yeah, pretty much. Like the moment my dad like I was into stuff like Queen was like as Queen and Journey, and I think the first like real album I ever listened to was on a CD. The Cars, their debut album. That's a really great album, you know, like Good Times Roll and like Best Friends Grow, all that stuff.
Yeah, I love those guys.
So like that was my perception of music, and then my dad played me a Jane's Addiction album. It was one of their later. It's called The Great Escape Artist, and apparently, as far as their career goes, it's not their best, but it's my favorite for incredibly shallow reasons. You know, I grew up with it, but he played me one Jane's Addiction song, and he's like, "Yeah, you're probably not gonna like this," but it changed my life genuinely. Like I can't. That is my music taste now. Like Jane's Addiction, Smashing Pumpkins, Deftones, stuff like that. Alice in Chains is pretty good. Linkin Park, all that.
You know, I think we might be related or something because there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
My dad also played me Jane's Addiction when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I really like this. I think he made a playlist for me, and in there were a couple of their songs. I don't know. It's just I really like rock. I mean, I'm not really tethered to one genre particularly. I like a lot. I mean, I have several different playlists on Spotify for different types of music, and I'll listen to them at different times. But you know, I always found myself going back to rock. Like, just recently, for whatever reason, I had "Personal Jesus" by Depeche Mode stuck in my head. I heard our wind chimes, and I was like, "Wait, hold on, did that just start playing?"
Yeah. My taste is kind of all over the place. I have a playlist that's just like full of everything from every playlist. So it'll be like Smashing Pumpkins song, and then like 3 Sonic songs, and then like movie soundtracks, and then some random Kanye West song or something like that. Yeah, that's how I like. And then 80s music, stuff like that. I like it's kind of like a guilty pleasure that I'm not fully guilty about. Like one of my favorite Christmas song is "Last Christmas" by Wham, and I don't know why, but it's always been a favorite of mine since I was a kid. Not because like I don't pay that much attention to the lyrics. Like obviously I do now, like later as I'm older, but no, I just like the way it sounds primarily. But yeah.
You're gonna have to like throw hands with you or something. I don't like that song. No, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because in one of my playlists, you can go from Tom Petty to Metallica to Bring Me to the Horizon in 3 songs, and it's insane.
Right, mine is even more all over the place. This is a good question. What's like a obscure band that you've had some interest in? And this goes to all you guys because you guys haven't really had any input recently. So, what's like an obscure band or some obscure music that you want to shout out?
Yacht Club is like an indie band. You probably heard of one of their songs. It's called "You Know What I Mean." It's like a slow song.
I don't think I have. I
like,
might if you play it for me.
Yeah, it's on TikTok. It's like it was popular at one point, but all the rest of the music is good. I listen to it.
What about you, Jason?
I don't really know any obscure band, but there's an artist that I think they deserve more attention than they get. This artist called QMU that makes a bunch of video game remixes that are really good.
I think I have heard some that you might have sent me something like that. In terms of video game soundtracks, that is one of my favorite genres. And I have a whole playlist on YouTube full of underrated game soundtracks that go hard. I'm not talking about like, Yoshi, that's kind of underrated. No, I'm talking about like games you have never heard of, like Wild Woody. But yeah, some of my favorite game composers or like obscure composers. One of them is Tim Fallon. They're both like British guys. Tim Fallon is like the messiah of chiptune music for like 8-bit and 16-bit games, because like he always goes way too hard for games that don't deserve it at all. Like the Pictionary title screen theme for NES. You've probably heard that. The joke's like, Tim, it was just Pictionary. And then the Plock soundtrack. There's a game on Super Nintendo called Plock, and that is some really, really good stuff. They pushed the Super Nintendo sound chip to their limit. Like Shigeru Miyamoto played that game, and he thought they hacked the Super Nintendo because he was like, there's no way this sound chip should be producing these kinds of sounds. And then a second favorite would have to be Dean Evans. He was also a British composer. He worked for this company called Ocean, and he did a bunch of licensed games, which, again, were pretty bad, but his music is really good. It's a lot more, I'd say, like, ambient, whereas Tim Fallon is just, like, going really hard. It's like, it's the closest you're going to get to prog rock in a video game, whereas Dean is more like picture-esque. I don't know what the right word is, but the soundtrack to Waterworld on the Super Nintendo is fantastic. And then he has a couple of unused songs for a Flintstones game, and you listen to them, and they're like, first off, this sounds nothing like the Flintstones. Second of all, this is way too good for the Flintstones. Reason why I was like unused material that like didn't get used for games like Waterworld, or it was just like he just threw it together for fun, and they were like, hey, put this in a password screen, you need to fill up the cartridge. And then in terms of like an actual artist, I'm not like fully into them, but like it's one of the most obscure I know. It's this weird like industrial band from the 80s called Skinny Puppy, and They were like, back in the 80s, everybody was like, whoa, these guys are dark. And like, if you listen to it now, it might be kind of goofy. Because like, there's a song called Assimilate. And it starts out like going, but like, that was the first time anybody had ever heard anything like that. Like, whoa, this is nuts. And now it's like, it's kind of laughable. But a favorite of mine is Warlock. That is a really good song. Kind of heavy-handed. Their music videos are always, really out there. Some are age restricted or got banned in some countries, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, they're pretty interesting.
So there's a band. Not sure if you ever heard of them. They're pretty niche. I don't know. I think they're from the UK. They're called the Beatles. You ever heard of those guys?
Dude,
No, I never
no
heard of
way.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But no, actually, so this isn't that like unheard of. I mean, I think they still have a couple like, million monthly listeners, but like I don't know if you guys ever heard of them. Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, they did Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, I like that one. That was like my dad's ringtone for a really long time. But I have a couple other songs on my playlist, and I'm like, yeah, these guys are really good.
Yeah, I love the scene in Halloween where they play that song. All right, well, I have one last question.
Okay, shoot.
How good are you at Fortnite Festival?
What's your best rank?
Surprisingly, I'm terrible at Fortnite Festival.
That's crazy.
No, like actually, I played one match. I sucked, and I literally quit midway through the song, and I'm like, nope, back to Battle Royale.
No, I'm the opposite. Like, I get smoked in Battle Royale, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, that's
clearly
what I do.
shooters are not my cup of tea. I need to play Rocket Racing or Fortnite Festival or these games that I actually do know a lot about these genres.
Oh yeah, speaking of Rocket Racing, you want to play that later?
Yeah, for sure. The new update came out, and I'm like the only person, like probably in the entire school that actually cares about it or was excited for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should try Clone Hero if you, or have you ever played like any of the old Guitar Hero games?
No, I've not.
You should definitely try out Clone Hero. It's a free. It's basically like Guitar Hero but better because you can like download any custom song
Oh, that's cool.
ever, and it's just this giant database and like any song from like a Guitar Hero or Rock Band game they added the tracks for.
Mhm.
So you get like a. They came out with a new like a Guitar Hero controller. It's like sort of expensive, but like all game controllers nowadays are expensive, and it's cheaper than trying to find a Guitar Hero one because like for whatever reason they're like $300 now or some crazy stuff like that.
Jeez.
And you know, I'm not paying that. I found some like weird knockoff guitar, and I'm like, this does the job. It's perfectly fine until I get a Riff Master or something like that.
Play Through the Fire and Flames.
I've actually tried, and it is rough. I cannot do it. I have massive respect for anybody that can, though. I love the video of the guy that's doing it for the Guinness World Records, and you can just see him in front of his like tube TV, and like his whole family is there, and you can tell like none of them really care. You can hear kids playing in the background, and the parents are just standing kind of awkwardly, just watching, like, what is this? But the kid is locked in, and you just hear that like of the guitar, and it is he's going so hard, and it's crazy. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening again. And if you like what you hear in the background, we've been playing Everett's music in the background of this whole interview. So if you like what you hear, definitely go check out Sky.47 on Spotify and Apple Music. That's right?
Yes, yes.
And be sure to subscribe to the Good Morning Castig YouTube channel for more Coyote Call and, of course, all our other shows. And definitely don't miss the next episode or whatever else we have planned for next time. So, yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.